Shalom, shalom. It's good to be back. I'm hoping that all my brethren out there are doing well, and the things that you're planning to do and the things that you're doing moving forward, knowing that the situation ain't easy right now, and in the world, and especially in America, and we're seeing how the situation is really complicated. I'm making this video with through a it's actually one of the phones that it's actually one of my new phones because I've had like two recently, and this is the one I'm using for this video. Something very important that I just want to continue with the video I did a couple of weeks ago when I was talking about many things about the flesh and about the things that as far as we do that against the will of God and the Most High and everything. I just want to use something. I just want to say. I'm gonna go straight to it. Actually, before even saying it, I'm gonna go straight to it. I have many verses that I kept in mind. I kept in mind that I've took a couple of notes, and I've been observing these verses. And I'm gonna start with this right off the bat. 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 8. We're gonna start right with that one, with this one right there. It's very clear and very direct towards us as his children, as his disciples, his people. It's important for us to be reminded of that. Now, 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 8 says, "Be sober minded, be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour." Now think about that. Now let's take a moment to, think about this verse and about what it says in the context behind it and the meaning behind this verse. What does it says? What message that this verse says? According to my own understanding and the things that I was able to understand with this verse is that it clearly warns you. It's more like a reminder in a way. It kind of reminds you of who you are and your position within the Word of the Most High. Because of where you came from, who you are, your lineage, your biblical lineage, and your spiritual lineage as well. There are many reasons why, the enemy is attacking you for many different reasons. But the biggest reason, of course, is because of the fact that, the enemy has declared war over you. He has declared war on you, on your life, on your soul, because of the decision you made to follow the Messiah. Like I always say in my videos, Yahweh never promised, he never said that, it would be easy, that we would be going through a smooth path and we wouldn't go through trials and tribulations. He never said that. Nor you cannot find this in the Word. And contrary, we know that we would be persecuted for his name's sake. We would go through tribulations and problems in many different situations that would lead us towards even being tempted, being even seduced by deceiving spirits. Like there's a verse that says, I don't have it in my mind, but a verse talks about the fact that the enemy even deceiving the very elect, deceiving the very ones that the Most High has chosen. If the enemy would have this chance to stray us away from the Word, the enemy would have done it. This is how desperate the enemy is to attack us in every different aspects of our lives. Not just in the spiritual aspect, in the physical, moral, mental aspect as well. Because we're going through things in our everyday lives, things that are not easy most of the times. As followers of the Messiah of Christ, of the Mashiach, we know that we partake in a route that wouldn't be easy. But the Most High has promised to be here with us. He's promised to cover us, to protect us from these trials and these tribulations. It don't mean that you're not going to suffer. It don't mean that we're not going to go through pain, because it's part of the process. If the Messiah went through pain, if he went through suffering, persecution, and hatred, then surely, as his children, as his people, and his disciples, we should all expect things to come our way. Different complex situations to come our way because of who we are as a people and what we represent according to the scriptures and what the Most High, is doing in our lives. For the past 400, 500 years, we've been living under a special grace that the Most High has placed over us, even when we didn't know the truth, even though when we came in the gospel and we started off, by serving God and through Christianity, this is where we all started from, But as I said in my previous videos, I did talk about the fact that it's a process. There's a timeline. The Most High has set a special timeline for us to come to the truth, for us to first of all know His name and who He is. Through religion, through Christianity, I was able to know who is Christ, who is the Mashiach, who is Yeshua, who is Jesus. I was able to come to the knowledge of the gospel. That was the first step. Because the Most High knew that in the last days we would be scattered. He knew in the last days that we would be in every nation and hated amongst all people among these nations where we would be sent into. It was already prophesied of our state in the last days. And we can see that it came to pass. It happened. But through our trials and our tribulations and the things that our people went through, we still managed to know Christ, to know who is the Mashiach, who is Jesus, who is Yeshua, who is our Messiah, And I just wanted to open this little part, before we get into another verse. And especially going back to that first chapter that I started with. Right off the bat, I started with 1 Peter, chapter 5, verse 8. And I said it basically talks about us being sober. The meaning of sober means basically being aware or being on guard, basically. Being on guard and be able to know, to always be on your feet, not being caught by surprise. This may not be the best description of sober, but it's the most, I'm just trying to keep it simple in this video, because it's not going to be a long, complex video. I just need to make a part 2 on the previous video I made about a couple of weeks ago, and about us being sober, which is connected to living according to the word, which is the spirit, or according to the flesh. We know that living according to the flesh in this world is simply living by the ways, we see fit according to our own desires and according to our own agenda. But Elohim, but the Most High God, Yahweh, has already prepared something for us. We just need to seek His face and make sure for us to be in the right position, the right mindset, and the right path to receiving these blessings and these prophetic messages that the Most High has in store for us. So, this is something that we must be reminding of every single day. We have to be sober-minded. We have to be watchful. We have to be careful, because we know our enemies. Now remember this video I made a couple of months ago when I went into details in Psalm 83, which talks about a conspiracy, a alliance of multiple different nations coming against us, both in the spiritual and also the physical way. We have many enemies, folks. Brothers and sisters out there, we have a lot of enemies in this world, in this system, which is controlled by our unseen enemies. This system has been created against us as a people, against us as followers of the Messiah. Now we see how corrupted this world is and everything that's happening in these days, where we see that prophecy is fulfilling and we're going through we see that the world is in a very chaotic state at this very moment. It's because of the fact that the Most High Elohim, or Yahweh, is awakening up His scattered sheep, His people. Even though that, we came from many different places, even amongst, people of different nations that, came to know the gospel and came to the gospel of Christ. We are aware of the fact that salvation also came to the Gentiles, those amongst, the Gentiles that the Most High Elohim has chosen. We already know this fact, and this is something that we've been taught. We've been taught way back in Christianity about salvation and everything. This is something that if you know the word and you've been, taught according to Christianity, the scriptures, this is something that you already know for a fact. But I'm going deeper. In my studies and these videos I'm making, I'm going way deeper than basic Bible studies or basic Bible teachings. Because scripture says that in the last days your sons and your daughters will prophesy. It has a meaning. This is something that scriptures talks about, how knowledge would increase in the last days, how we would come to the knowledge of so many truths that has been hidden from us by those who govern the system, those who created the system, led by the invisible enemies, which is the devil, which he is the invisible adversary that we can't see physically, but is working and controlling and shaping the narrative of the system in the background. So I'm going to go straight to the book of Romans, right above 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 8. There's Romans 6:16 as well, because all these verses are here. Excuse me. All of these verses are here are actually verses that I kept in my notes, and I just went on the website quickly to get all these verses on the video. So even while I'm talking, you guys can still read it. So Colossians chapter 3 verse 1 to 25 says, "If then you have been raised with Christ, seek the things that are above, where Christ is seated in the right hand of God, of Yah. Set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth." I'm going to read it again. Set your minds on the things that are above, not on the things that are on the earth. For you have died, and your life is hidden with Christ and God and Yah. When Christ, the Mashiach, who is your life, appears, then you also will appear with him in glory. Put to death, therefore, what is earthly in you: sexual immorality, impurity, passion, evil desires, etc., which is also adultery. So, we could go on and about all these verses that talk about the same subject, about the fact that as the followers of Christ, as disciples, that there's a way for us to live, not according to religion or whatever doctrine we've been taught in the past before we came to the truth. There's a way to live according to scriptures. There's a way that the Most High has showed his people time and time again. In the days of old, when the kingdom was still, when we were still people, when there was a kingdom and there was a land and there was a people, there were kings, back in the days of ancient Israel, when all these things were set. Even today, as Israel, modern day Israel, is no more, at least in a physical nation placed by the Most High. We know how things have changed throughout the centuries and all these prophecies about the scattering of Israel and everything. So we are aware of all these prophecies, but Elohim, Yahweh, has still showed us. He still provided through grace for us a way for us to serve him, despite not being united physically yet, until, of course, the Messiah returns and gathers his people from the four winds. But that's another subject. So we can clearly see that seeking the things that are above is something that we should all lean towards. That the life that we're living right now, especially in these last days where the earth is seriously, when the world is seriously in utter chaos right now, as all these prophecies are coming to pass, there's a way for us to live. There's a way that the Bible, the scriptures tells us how to live. Now, there's also something that I want to end up with, a verse that most people know a lot. Ephesians 6:12 says, "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers, over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil and the heavenly places. This is very deep right there. Now you can go on, you can make a whole study with this verse alone that goes in depth. Even though this is the ESV version, there are many other versions, but just for the sake of this video, just keeping it simple, I'm reading this version so that everybody can understand, because it's in English that we can all understand, of course. So it said that we are not fighting against flesh and blood. What does that mean? Now, mind you, I said earlier in this video, I was talking about our enemies who are many, our enemies that we cannot see, our enemies who are unseen in the physical realm, are these same adversaries who are shaping the narrative. These invisible beings who are controlling the system in this world are the same ones that hate us and want to destroy us as a people, creating all these laws and all these things through religion and through politics. We've seen how this war has been throughout the course of these past 2,000 years. So it's important for us to know that, and this world has many different systems and things that have been put in place against us. But, like I said earlier in my video, the Most High has promised. So like I was saying, the Most High has already prepared a place in a certain protection for his people against these evil forces. That's why there are many things that are about to happen this year. 2020 has been a very interesting year, both prophetic and also chaotic in many different aspects. And I will be making a video pretty soon about many things that I've been seeing, many events and many dreams that I've been having, and also dreams that other people have been having about what's going to happen here in America and the world. Now we are in the month of August. September, November, December are going to be interesting. It's going to be a very interesting timeline. That's why, as followers of the Messiah, we need to make sure that we stay faithful to Yah, that we stay faithful and humble, and that we seek his face more, because all the chaos that we've been seeing this year so far, it's not going to get better, folks. It's going to keep on intensifying, it's going to keep on getting worse. And that's why I've always talked about in my videos how to live according to the word, how to live according to the spirit and not the flesh, because living according to the flesh will only spell doom for you, especially in these times we're living, where we are approaching the end game, getting closer and closer to the end game. Though the return of the Messiah probably won't happen right away, but as we are getting closer and closer to the return of our King, then this world is going to fall in more and more chaos. And this is something that we see in Bible prophecy again and again. We've heard about prophecy, we've heard about the return of Christ, about the return of the King, and how he would fight against the nations, Now, of course, we've been taught these things through Christianity. Now, we've been taught about the return of Christ and about, of course, I'm not going to get into this in this topic, but there's this, secret rapture doctrine that came around about 100 or almost 200 years ago. But this isn't a topic for another day. I might make a video on that very soon. And when you read Bible prophecy and you read about the end time and the end game, things are going to be slightly different than what we've been taught in all these live behind movies. But I digress. This is something that we need to be aware of. But I am planning to make a video about that. One of these days I will make sure to have this discussion with you guys, and for us to have a better understanding of Bible prophecy and how many things are actually going to happen, how Christianity has portrayed it to happen. That's why we gotta read scriptures, folks. We gotta spend time in the Word. Because you can be, this, Sunday church age is over now. There's no more going to church on Sunday and sitting there and listening to what the pastor wants to talk about. Now, the Most High has put an end to the system for us to be in a situation where we have to seek His face more. We're living in the times where we need to seek Yah's face more. Not depending on these institutions, these religious institutions, for us to truly study ourselves and keep ourselves approved, for us to make our own research. Everything I say, I'm not asking you to believe me. Everything I'm saying and all those topics I'm talking about in my videos, you don't have to believe me. You can make your own research. Go to scriptures, make your research, read all these verses about Bible prophecy, about all these things, and about the gathering of the 12 tribes, and about who Israel is according to scriptures. Now, you may agree and I agree. At the end of the day, the Holy Spirit will have to make you agree if you choose to let the Most High speak to your heart. That's the thing. We may agree or disagree in certain topics, because with this Eurocentric Christian mindset, we're not going anywhere, because we have a mindset that is so central, that is so biased, towards this, the Christianity that we've been given that came from Europe, At the end of the day, to understand the true gospel and how, especially Bible prophecy, because I do talk a lot about Bible prophecy and about all these things, because I'm trying to bring forth, how can I say, I'm trying to show my audience that we need to make our own research. I'm trying to show the people who are listening to my videos that sitting down and listening to a video or somebody speaking about the Bible and prophecy, or going to church and listening to the pastor, it's not something that we're not living in these times anymore, because time is running out, folks. And America and this nation and many other things are about to happen in this world that is going to shape the very foundations of this system, because Yahweh is about to judge this world, folks. He's about to bring an end to the kingdom of the foolish. But at the end of the day, we have to be prepared. We have to be ready for what's coming, for this upcoming war that's about to happen in this world. First, that will obviously start with this nation in America, and a war that will spread across the globe rapidly like wildfire afterwards. With this whole Trump presidency and the election that's coming in November, this nation is about to be on fire, folks. This nation was about to be shaken to its very foundation, its very core. And these events are being shaped by the Most High. Because at the end of the day, the devil may have power, but the Most High is all powerful. Remember that. Now, the devil has been giving a limit. He has a time limit, folks. The book of Revelation talks about the fact that the enemy, the dragon, which is the devil, will wage wars against the children of the woman who gives birth to that child, which represents the disciples and also the 12 tribes. Which is a whole different topic, which is a whole different Bible study that we can hopefully get into soon, about the book of Revelations and all these prophecies. So the enemy is waging a war against the saints of the Most High. And we are seeing this more and more. And the system that's seriously starting to get worse and worse. About this whole vaccine, COVID-19 thing, about this whole thing about, electronic money and the dollar that is about to fall pretty soon, because the US dollar will fall soon. This is, again, something that's coming, and we need to be ready for that. But anyways, I digress. I just want to go through all this quickly, but the main message of this video was also to make sure that I would finish my 2-part series on living by the word of the flesh. I could make a part 3. It's possible, because all these Bible studies and all these subjects about how to live according to the word and not live according to the flesh is vast. I could make more parts in the future. I can make a part 3 and part 4, maybe later on down the line. But in between, I will be making some videos about all these dreams that I've been having about the end time and all these events that are happening currently. And it's something that I need to share. It's something I need to put out there, you know. And I really need to share these things. The Most High has been really reminding me every day. Same way I've been able to share all these things with my family, I also need to put this out there. Because I know my audience and the people who follow me and who pay attention to my stuff, to my videos, and because I know I have a couple of followers who are truly paying attention to my videos. You know, it doesn't matter the number of the people who are following me, even if it's one person, as long as the Most High puts it in your heart or guides you towards this video for you to listen to it, then praise to the Most High. Yeah, praise the Most High God. It's what matters to me is to be able to reach people out there, you know, electronically, using technology in a good way, in a positive way, to share the word and to share and to not only share the word, but also talk about many different, you know, subjects, talk about Bible prophecy, talk about Israel and all many different subjects, and about the 12 tribes and about, you know, even the geopolitical situation of the world. You know, this is something that we can find a way to have future discussions and future videos on also these topics. You know, so it all depends on my audience, and if you guys are interested, we can also have, you know, these topics as well. I can also make these videos. If you guys are, if you send a comment, let me know. But even if I'm solely focusing on the Word of God at this moment, which is something that I really need to do, because the knowledge that the Most High gives you, you cannot sit down and just not share it, or else you're going to lose that gift. If Yahweh gives you a gift, you have to share it. This is what we need to do as His disciples, as His people, is to bring forth the Word of God, the truth. And by doing so, we are going to be an example to our brethren and to the Gentiles. I digress. We must live according to the Spirit and not according to the flesh, folks. There will be a part 3. I'm planning on making a part 3. Down the road, I will be. But before that, I have to make videos about all these dreams that I've been having. Okay, I'm stopping here. Part 3 coming soon, and also many other videos on those prophetic dreams that we've been having. So, shalom. Be strong, my brethren, my family out there, and the diaspora. And also my brothers and sisters who serve the Most High. Be strong, shalom, and see y'all soon.